On a sweltering Wednesday afternoon, Blessing sat on the sofa, flipping through a magazine. The air was still, the ceiling fan doing little to cool her excitement. The shrill ring of the telephone jolted her from her thoughts. She picked up the receiver, her heart pounding with anticipation. "Madam, can you come this afternoon? The chief will see you after his lunch," came the gruff voice of Ndu-Aye, Chief Nboli's house manager. A slow smile spread across Blessing's lips. The 2,000 naira she had given him had done its job. She always knew that in this country nothing moved without the right connections or the right price. "So, the chief is in town?" she asked, barely able to contain her excitement. "Yes." She exhaled dramatically, savoring the moment. "Ooh, thank you. You do well. Tell him I will be there straight away." As she placed the receiver down gently, a shiver of exhilaration swept through her. Blessing closed her eyes for a brief second, imagining her grand entrance into Chief Nboli's world. He was the man, the savior of her ambitions, a powerful senator, a gatekeeper to the life she craved. If he said the word, doors would open, opportunities would rain. Right now, everything depended on him. Her future, Seb's future, it was all in Chief Nboli's hands. She scoffed as she thought about Seb's naivety. He still didn't understand how this country worked. He clung to his idealism, believing hard work and integrity were enough to get ahead. But Blessing knew better. She knew the golden rule: man, no man. And she was about to play her cards right. What happened next was something Blessing never expected. It was never part of her plan. What took place was beyond her wildest imagination. As soon as she ended the call, she stood before her mirror, pulling on her red silk dress. It hugged her hips, clung to her curves. She twisted, admiring her reflection from different angles. Confidence swelled within her. This was the perfect outfit for the occasion. Powerful, striking, unforgettable. Without hesitation, she grabbed her car keys and drove to Chief Nboli's compound. As she drove through the grand gates, they creaked open, revealing a large deserted compound. The senator's jeep was parked in its usual spot, gleaming under the harsh afternoon sun. The sky was a striking blue, with a few wisps of white clouds stretching across it. Ndu-Aye appeared at the entrance, his face unreadable. He motioned her inside. "Oga dey expect you. Him dey rest now. Make you go in. Make you go sidden," he instructed before hurrying to the jeep and driving off. Blessing stepped into the living room, her heart pounding slightly. Then from above, a voice rang out. "Come up here. The house is yours." It was the chief. Blessing ascended the polished marble staircase, her heels clicking against the cool surface. As she reached the top, she saw the chief's broad back as he stepped into his bedroom. Without hesitation, she followed. "Come right in," he said, adjusting the large wrapper tied around his waist as a makeshift loincloth. He lowered himself onto his king-size bed, his belly shifting with the movement. "You're lucky," he said casually. "I was about to start my siesta when you drove in." Blessing smiled politely. "Thank you very much, sir. Very nice of you." The chief chuckled, his voice thick with amusement. "That's why you see me in this wrapper. And I want to tell you a secret. No woman has ever seen me in my loincloth and got away." He threw his head back and broke into a boyish laugh. Blessing smiled coyly as she sat on the settee, pressing her legs together and subtly pulling down her dress. Her heart pounded, but she maintained an air of innocence. Chief Nboli, the classic politician, lounged comfortably, his presence dominating the room. He was the kind of man who could get away with anything, especially when dealing with those too blinded by their desires to think critically. His voice was warm, almost fatherly, as he leaned forward. "What can I offer you?" "Remy Martin, Black Label." "Name it," he said with a knowing smile. She shook her head gently. "Sir, I have come with a problem. I want to see if you can help me. I'm sorry to bother you with this, but it's Seb." Chief Nboli's face lit up with interest. He set his glass down and folded his arms. "It's all right. I like the doctor and what he's doing for our people. What has he done to you?" Blessing sighed dramatically. "It's what he has not done, or refused to do. I know if he comes to you, you can help him move to another level. You know people, sir. Even that Mrs. Igala has invited him to Abuja so they can work together, but he has refused. Imagine that, sir." Chief Nboli chuckled, his eyes twinkling with amusement. "And you want me to talk to him?" Blessing leaned forward earnestly. "Yes-o. Sir, he's missing opportunities. With you and Mrs. Igala behind him, he could go far. Anything is possible. He could even be appointed a minister." Her voice carried the weight of her desperation, her eyes flashing with determination. Chief Nboli burst into laughter, shaking his head. "So na im dey worry you?" Blessing huffed. "Of course, sir. How can that girl travel before me? Now she comes back to tell me about Dubai, London, Paris, Harrods this, Harrods that. All her clothes are from Oxford Street. Sir, I beg you, help me." Chief Nboli took a long sip of his drink and leaned back with a knowing grin. "Is that all? You want to travel?" "Yes, sir," she said firmly. "I want to shine like other people. Let them know I have traveled like them." The chief nodded, his voice smooth and decisive. "No problem, Blessing. You will travel in 2 weeks' time. Are you ready?" Blessing gasped, her eyes widening. "Sir, you don't mean it." Chief Nboli leaned back in his chair, watching Blessing's reaction with amusement. "You will travel to London in 2 weeks' time. Bring me your passport. If you don't have one, my staff will get it for you. So, get ready." Blessing gasped, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Ah, sir, thank you, I can't believe it. Me, Blessing in London. My God is alive." She lifted her hands to the heavens. "Nothing can stop God's plan for my life. Thank you, sir. God will bless you multiple times." A rush of emotion swept through her. For the first time in a long while, she felt unburdened, unrestricted, free. More than that, she felt victorious. She had gotten what she wanted, access to power. Chief Nboli smirked. "It's not a big deal at all, Blessing, just leave it to me." Blessing moved closer and sat beside him. Her eyes were glowing with admiration. "I still can't believe it, sir," she murmured. "What you've just said to me this afternoon, it's like a dream. You're such a nice man, so generous. Just to hear those words. You're just too wonderful." Chief Nboli chuckled, his voice smooth and deliberate. "That one a small thing," he said. "I will take you to any part of the world you want to go to." Blessing's lips parted in awe. Sir, I'm truly lucky to know someone like you." She imagined herself in first class, sipping champagne as she flew to London, Paris, or Dubai. She reached out and lightly traced his hand with her finger. "This is wonderful. It's really nice. I never expected it." She turned to look at him, her eyes unreadable. And in that moment, Chief Nboli knew. She hadn't asked why he was doing this, nor who she would be traveling with. She had accepted without hesitation. "Your delightful blessing. I will do anything for you," Chief Nboli said, his voice suddenly lower, trembling with excitement. His arm slipped around her. Blessing felt the moment shift. She had played this scene in her head countless times. She had longed for it, and now, here it was. She did not need to convince herself to find him attractive. She did not hesitate or resist. The man who would make her dreams come true was right in front of her. Power, wealth, and privilege. It was all within reach. With her body, she told him how grateful she was, how much she wanted this. And even Chief Nboli, a man who had sown many wild oats, found himself taken aback by her raw passion. He had never experienced anything like it.